Namaste everyone. A warm welcome to Satsang this morning. Sadhguru Shri Muji Baba ki Jai. So who is here? Who is here?
God.
The same one that I met first thing in the morning. You want to find this one? If you're in Satsang means either you already recognize that it is, or you're looking to find this one. See, nothing else really is on offer here. Your being, your existence, your isness, yourself. It is your ever-present reality. It would not be worth it unless it was your present reality. And you have only experienced your own presence, your own existence. You have only ever experienced this, your own self. The idea that there is something missing in it is a superimposition. It is not the truth. So as you're meeting yourself without any idea about yourself, what is it that you're finding?
Peace.
Peace.
Mind is quieter.
Mind is quieter.
Heart is burning with love.
Hmm.
Heart is burning with love.
Heart is burning with love. Some of you are also feeling that it has always been here. How is it that I missed this for so long? I am has always been what I am. I was saying the other day that if the greatest being came to you, let's say God came to you, in a physical sort of way, in a phenomenally apparent way, what would you exchange it for? The greatest being, in the presence of which all auspiciousness comes on its own. All our effort, all our doing, trying, making life happen, all of this naturally is unfolding in the presence of this being. No idea about doing anything is needed, no idea about wanting anything is needed, and no sense of separation is experienced naturally in the presence of such a being. Now, what offer can come in the world that will make you want to exchange this for something else? In the presence of this being, you find that there is immortality. It is the eternal truth. You recognize the self which is unchanging. These are natural gifts of the presence of this being. And if this being was available to you, what is it that you would value more than this? And if you were to spend the next few moments with this being versus something else, what would that something else be? So, satsang is that play in which we come to this meeting of our own being, of our own truth. Come to your own company. They said satsang means the company of the truth. Sometimes it is called the company of the good. So, this truth that you're meeting now, what would you rather have instead of this? So, if the choices were like this, yeah, this beautiful presence of your being, versus you can decide to spend the next 5 minutes playing with the grievance you have with somebody else, or some sense of pride you might have about something you did, or some regret about something that didn't happen for you 5 years ago. Or remorse about not buying bitcoins at $10. What would you rather play with right now? But the good news is that even if you were playing with all of that, you see, the being is ever available, not going anywhere. So our coming to Satsang means that for at least this period of time, we want to rest in our own presence, in our own God presence, in our own holy truth. How many of you still feel like you cannot find this being? It sounds beautiful, but what is he talking about? Is there anyone like this? And even if you're feeling a bit shy to admit that and you feel it's true about you, I've given a tool for this, which is instead of trying to find the being, try to stop being. Don't exist. And soon you will find that that is absurd because naturally you are present. This presence is the perfume of your existence, of your being. So stay with this presence, stay with the perfume. And the source of the perfume is clear. I am. I am not something. The something has always been a notion, an idea. And it is gone. And you're finding that all appearances, the appearance of this body, which seems so much intimate to you, the appearance of all of these other bodies, the appearances of all these places and spaces, all these are just movements of light and sound designed in such a way to make it feel like something can contain you. But actually, all is just contained on your own screen, on your own being, in your own light. And this is your very experience. You have never experienced the world without you being there. You might have experienced the world in a in the body experience or out of body experience. The body could be there or not there. You could have had a in life experience or near death experience. But whatever experience there is, you have to be there. Your existence is undoubtable. So it is this I am, this being, in this Maya, in this play, has been confused to be I am something limited. I am something with a boundary. I am something which had a start and will have an end. And there is nobody who has continued to play with these notions and not suffer. That is also part of the design of the play itself. If you play with lies, then the seeming suffering also comes as a result of that. And that is just, after a point, you see it is just too much hard work. Too much energy goes in picking up notions about yourself. No energy goes in resting as you are. In India, it is said that God, Guru, and Self are the same. So whether we say God is here, or Sadguru is here, or Self is here, or the enlightened being is here, or Buddha is here, Christ is here, it doesn't matter. The words don't matter. You are here. And this you has been misunderstood. Or let's say at least the game of misunderstanding has been played. So let these words not be just some words that I'm speaking and you pick up some concepts about them. May this be your tasted experience. You are the limitless self, the unbounded ocean. So does this mean that life must become this boring, robotic? sort of existence, if I see that everything is just happening within me. No. You see, mostly you find that the sages are having the most fun. Why? Because when this world is played with fearlessly, then it is only a playground, you see. The fear is taken away because you see that nothing can happen to me here. Nothing in this world can make a scratch on my being. Nothing can dent my existence. Okay, I'm happy to take some questions if there are some. If there are none, it's fine. You don't have to exchange your being for a question. Only if something seems like it is on fire, something seems to be blocking you. Helen asks, I am starting to understand that life gives me so much suffering, not because it is mean, but to transcend and to see that it does not exist. So far, it is just a small window of clarity, and still I am burning. Could you clarify further? Yes, it's very beautiful what you say. You say it is not vindictive, like Guruji says. It is not mean life. And the point of suffering then seems to be to transcend it. And once you transcend it, you actually come to this, which you said later, just to see that it actually does not exist. You see? That which seems so clear, as if it is a lake of water, you saw it was just a mirage. Why? Because it is not that the sensations of pain did not exist, that the appearance of some events did not appear, but because the sufferer was always presumed. The presumed individual sufferer never really existed. So to transcend suffering only means to transcend our individual identity. Once you see, that is why Bhagavan's question was, who am I? Once you see that this entity which was the presumed sufferer has not even a little bit of tangible existence, has just been an idea, then you see that an idea itself does not even exist. So how can it suffer except in ideas itself? So to transcend suffering only means to transcend the confusion of mistaken identity. That's why I've said that all confusion is actually just confusion about who we are. Now, at least for a few months now, I've been the bearer of some very good news, which is that all that needs to be done already is so. This moment is bringing you this gift just naturally. Everything that you're hoping to transcend is already gone. If you say, but, it is not gone, then all that is left to transcend is the but, it's not gone. Whatever notion or idea we might pick up about it is that which remains to be transcended. And how to transcend it? Gone. Now you have to scramble to suffer. You have to scramble, you have to work hard to suffer. So the more difficult part is to stay as an identity. The easiest thing is to give it up. Because what could be easier than not having to do anything at all? And not having to do anything at all, God is here. But you have to do a lot. Play with attention, believe, all of these things for you to be here or pretend to be here individually. So what is easier? Just let God be. Okay. Then Sarah says, I am afraid that I cannot remain as I am after all the actions that happened through this body. It is like a leap of consciousness that is too big for the state of consciousness in which I lived my life mostly. But I don't feel these words to be true, Father. I cannot fathom how blessed I am to be in your company. That is why I said, I have the best news. Whatever might have happened, whatever you might have done, you see, we might be, in our minds, we might be the biggest sinner ever, but we have never been forsaken. God is here. And the good thing is that it is not even a leap of consciousness. It is just very natural consciousness. The leap is the imagined one. You see? The leap is the imagined one, which is the leap to limitation. The ocean, pretending to be just a wave, is too much of a leap to ever be real, you see. For you to be the ocean is not a leap at all. So what can happen is that we might have this idea that we are looking at all of this through this limited lens. You see? It might feel like, oh, but that is too big. So as we drop any mask, and naturally you exist right now. Existence is not possible for anyone but God. Can we put it that way? So you exist, therefore you are God. Sound blasphemous almost. Yeah. Nothing exists but God. Okay, let's put it this way. Nothing exists but God. Do you exist? Yes, I exist. It's not a leap. It's just a simple recognition of what is naturally present. Okay. Then what can happen is we discovered that we are the ocean. Okay. Now what happens is because one coconut has always been there, then we start to look at the movements of the coconut and say, but why ocean behave like that? You see? So I don't know whether you heard this visual. We used it very often in the retreat also. Where I said you're finding that you are the ocean, but on the surface of the ocean there is one coconut floating, which is this body. So then you say, but why coconut went left or went right? The coconut was told to go right, it still went left. You see? You're finding that you are the ocean. This coconut body is just another appearance on your surface. If you keep trying to fill the ocean in this coconut, then it can feel like so much confusion can come. You see, what do I do? It's too confusing now. When I find myself, then I don't know whether to go right or left. But you're finding that you are not this body, and you never have been. You are not the individual doer at all. And yet, all doing, all actions, all activities naturally happen through this body. But if we have an expectation of how they have to turn out, or what the meaning of the right way to live is, then it can seem like, oh, this is starting to get very confusing. See? Because the ocean doesn't conform to any idea. It is just naturally existing. And in its light, all bodies are naturally existing. But if you have an idea of where life should go or should not go, then that is trying to bottle up the ocean in the coconut, which we cannot do. That's why the great sages, there's so many beautiful stories about them. You see, they decide to go someplace, but actually they start walking in the opposite direction. You see, hey, I don't know. It's just some intuitive voice is telling me go left. You see, like that. They start getting there. And you might feel like, oh, but there must be a beautiful end to that story, but sometimes there just isn't. You see, it's like you heard the story. What was it? Yogi Ji, was it? Yogi Ram Sarath Kumar, who just took his whole Sangha, went to Chennai. Is it Chennai? Where did he go? You know? No, he just took everyone to Chennai. Just, okay, forgive me if this is a wrong story, but you get the idea, right? So he took the entire Sangha to Chennai and said, we are going there. we're just going to go. The minute he landed in Chennai, I said, no, we're going back. So everybody turned back and left. Came back to. We can't even have this idea that, okay, there must be a particular reason. And when he got to Chennai, he must have met somebody who needed his blessing or something. Even empty of that idea, just reached and then left. So life doesn't have to make sense in that way. And this is the very difficult aspect to deal with, because we always try to make sense of it. We always try to figure out the why of it. Why am I doing this? Why am I coming here? Why am I flying to India? You see, all these various things have been there. But nobody has ever figured out the why of anything. That's why these days so often I've been saying, why? Consciousness. Everything happens only with the will of consciousness. And why it is important, in a way, to share this is that consciousness, but, but also that we drop these ideas that, oh, life will make some greater as I transcend the falls. Every action that I make will have some beautiful reason behind it. The only reason is consciousness. So this letting go of apparent control, letting go of having good reasons for why everything is why it should be, this can feel like a bit unsteady. But as we let go and we start enjoying this movie with no idea why this current scene is here, why the next scene always turns out to be this way or that way. That's what makes this movie more fun. Would you really go for a movie where every single thing is so straight line, logical, and the whys are clear? There is no unpredictability in that. I don't know why I'm saying all of this. It has nothing to do with the question. Maybe somewhere it does. I don't know. Why? Consciousness. I'm afraid that I cannot remain as I am after all the actions that have happened through this body. It is like a leap of consciousness that is too big for the state of consciousness in which I have lived my life mostly. But I cannot feel these words to be true, Father. I cannot fathom how blessed I am to be in your company. Yes. That is where the last thing I want to say about this is that it is our starting point which has been misunderstood. And if our starting point is presumed, if you have a presumed starting point of being a person, then we have to invent a journey. Now I am telling you that your starting point is unlimited consciousness itself. This is your starting point and it is true about you now. Okay? From that perspective, nothing is too big. Because no matter how big it might be, you are bigger than that. Everything happens only because you exist. Therefore, you are the light of that. It is not the light of you. The starting point already is the destination. All the leaps have been taken. What are the two examples I gave? So suppose you had like very strong conditioning that you have to get there. You see? And what is needed to get there? Suppose you had this very strong idea that 1,000 years of meditation I have to do to get there. So I gave all of you the guarantee that you have already meditated for 999 years, 364 days, 23 hours, 59 minutes, and 59 seconds. And the fruit of all your meditation is available now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good. Maybe Krishna, you can come up and read it out your post because his throat is not so good right now.
Can you hear me, Father?
Yes, my dear. We could.
Okay. I just said, Father, that I wanted to thank you so much. So you know, so much fire has been burning here, and at times it's been quite intense, you know. And but just your pointing the other day of just to stay with what is present here right now. Something just needed to be heard, needed to hear that one more time, you know, Father. And it was really um, it was much needed. And also through all this burning, there is just this feeling of such rawness, you know, just so raw. Everything just feels so burned down in a sense, you know, that it's actually quite beautiful, Father. You know, and also watching Muji's video this morning, the interview where he talked about losing his son when he was with Papa Ji, just kind of, you know, with the situation and stuff. And it just kind of, I don't know, I just felt so much gratitude hearing that for him, for you, especially for you, Father. And I just wanted to say thank you. And also, I think the, uh, you know, you asked a question a short while ago about the being, and it's always here, and in a way, our need to make it special makes us miss it, and just miss the fact that it's always here. And I don't know, Father. I'm just happy to be here, and just grateful to be um, held by you um, always. You know. Thank you.
Very good. Very. Yes, very beautiful interview also yesterday. I saw about 1 hour this morning. I haven't seen the whole thing yet, but I was watching it and I was feeling like Guruji should be on Oprah. What's the biggest talk show these days? You know, because imagine if you have a show with millions of people, you have so much to be in his presence. What is it now? Ellen? Should be on Ellen. Who knows Ellen? Who can write to Ellen and tell her to interview Guruji? Prisha asked, yesterday Guruji said something like, if this life is only for me, I don't want it. Can you speak about it? Means that if it is just restricted to, like I would say, that if this life was just being played out in a way where it is only for Ananta, what Ananta wants, what he wants to do next, what are the experiences he wants to experience, and this desire for what Ananta would like, what Ananta has to do to get those desires. You see? If it was just, if this life was just for that, you do not feel like having that, because that's exactly what has been transcended. You see that this one, this so-called Ananta, is just another appearance on the field of your unlimited consciousness. So you would not want this universality now to become constricted only back to the what's in it for me. See? What's in it for me and what should I do to get it? It's a bit like discovering the ocean and then trying to fit it in the coconut. So it is seen that there is one self, and the play of this life is just like the play of all other lives which are appearing in this. And this being, this consciousness is no longer believing itself to be just restricted to one me, one person, one identity. So this is the feeling here about what he would have meant, of course. it's just paraphrasing Guruji. I hope it captures the essence of what he was trying to say. Are we seeing something? Okay, that's what to sing Saguna. Nirvana. तुझे Saguna.
तुझा सगुण म्हणू की निर्गुण रे तुझा सगुण म्हणू की निर्गुण रे सगुण निर्गुण एक गोविंद रे एक गोविंद रे सगुण निर्गुण एक गोविंद रे एक गोविंद रे तुझा सगुण म्हणू की निर्गुण रे तुझा सगुण म्हणू की निर्गुण रे अनुमानेना 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 श्रुती नीती नीती म्हणती गोविंद रे श्रुती नीती नीती म्हणती गोविंद रे श्रुती नेती नेती म्हणती गोविंद रे श्रुती नेती नेती म्हणती गोविंद रे तुझ सगुण म्हणो की निर्गुण रे तुझ सगुण म्हणो की निर्गुण रे तुझ दृश्य म्हणो की अदृश्य रे तुझ दृश्य म्हणो की अदृश्य रे दृश्य दृश्य एको गोविंदु रे दृश्य दृश्य एको गोविंदु रे तुझ सगुण म्हणो की निर्गुण रे तुझ सगुण म्हणो की निर्गुण रे तुझ आकारो म्हणो की निराकारू रे तुझ आकारू म्हणो की निराकारू रे आकारू निराकारू एको गोविंदु रे आकारू निराकारू एको गोविंदु रे तुझ सगुण म्हणो की निर्गुण रे तुझ सगुण म्हणो की निर्गुण रे तुझ स्थूळ म्हणो की सूक्ष्म रे तुझ स्थूळ म्हणो की सूक्ष्म रे स्थूळ सूक्ष्म एको गोविंदु रे स्थूळ सूक्ष्म एको गोविंदु रे तुझ सगुण म्हणो की निर्गुण रे तुझ सगुण म्हणो की निर्गुण रे निवृत्ती प्रसादे ज्ञानदेव बोले बापरक देवी वरो विठ्ठलु रे निवृत्ती प्रसादे ज्ञानदेव बोले बापरक देवी वरो विठ्ठलु रे तुझ सगुण म्हणो की निर्गुण रे तुझ सगुण म्हणो की निर्गुण रे सगुण निर्गुण एक गोविंदु रे एक गोविंदु रे तुझ सगुण म्हणो की निर्गुण रे तुझ सगुण म्हणो की निर्गुण रे
What is the connection between the feeling and the truth? Can the feeling be trusted? The doubt that comes to me is one that says to me, all that you really care about is the feeling. That motivates everything. You like the good one and dislike the bad one. By feeling, I mean, for example, just when one feels positive about life, this is when it is just not an enjoyable feeling of being alive. Thank you so much for sharing beautiful satsang. It is my joy to be in something so beautiful in this life. What you're finding is that your presence, your being, is the substratum for even all feelings. And as you're discovering that this substratum is unshaken, no matter what quality of other sensations might come, including feelings, then naturally you'll find that in the perfume of your presence, all these, there is no shortage, although there is no feverishness or expectation about them. There is never a lack of even this beautiful perfume of feelings like peace, like love and joy. So allow yourself to just taste your own existence, even if it feels empty of sensational feeling for a bit. And as you get used to this taste of your flavorless being, you will find that all flavors are in service to you. And pretty soon the distinction between good and bad will not seem so strong. It will still be tasted. You will still be able to differentiate between grief and joy, between salt and sugar, but you will not have so much feverishness about preferences, about wanting this taste versus that taste. In fact, you might come one day to this seeing that all these beautiful feelings are just in service to your presence. Something inside is jumping with joy that I don't have to suffer. What a Christian conditioning coming apart at the seams. So I'm the bearer of good news. You don't have to do anything at all, especially not suffer. Thank you all so much for being in satsang today. Sadhguru Shri Muji Baba ki jai.
Satguru Shri Ananta Ji ki Jai.